What is up, you guys? Teller checking in for the recap of UFC Vegas 89. I do apologize for getting this video out a little later than I wanted to, because this is a recap that I'm very excited for. We profit just a smidge under 10 units on the card. Essentially, we profit 10 units on this event. One of the biggest events I've had in a long time. It was a very fun card as well. It just had some things going on over here behind the scenes, a little bit of turbulence in my life here, but nothing major, nothing that won't pass, but did kind of hold me back from getting this video out to you. But I'm here now, and I'm going to be doing this video a little bit differently. I'm going to start with the first fight of the event, and we'll work our way up to the main event. Typically, I like to start with the main event nowadays, but I had my action tied up right as this card popped off. In the first fight, I did have a 5-unit play on Mick Parkin, got it at -150. And if you guys follow me on IG, you saw me stressing out a little bit as I had my reaction video to the judges' scorecards. It wasn't that I didn't feel that Parkin won this fight. It's just that you guys know we can never trust the judges. Parkin could have won all 3 rounds, except for he had that one moment in the first round where he was hit by that big shot and kind of did the chicken dance there for a second. And he actually landed a nice counter when Usman was running in on him. But you understand how the judges are going to score these fights. If the fighter has a big moment in a round and does kind of the more damaging type of, if he's landing more damaging type of shots, even if it's in a concentrated amount of time in the round, they're going to give him that round. So I kind of felt they were going to give that round to Usman, but I thought Parkin went straight to business in the second and third rounds and won those rounds. So that was a nice cash there. And then we went right into the Andre Lima play. I had a 4-unit play on Lima. Caught it at -175. In retrospect, I wish I would have grabbed a little bit of a better line on that. I kind of played with the line movement, was waiting a little bit too long, and it did bite me there. But at the end of the day, we cash in. And let's be clear, Andre Lima is an absolute stud. He's showing that he has grappling to go along with his ridiculous striking. And Igor Sevino bit him because he knew he was starting to break in there. And it was a horrible move by Sevino because he should have just took his L. I think that Lima was on his way to breaking him down as he eventually would have broke off and landed some more damaging shots. We saw Sevino doing the chicken dance himself in there a little bit. But Sevino is very tough. He's young. He obviously has a chin. He doesn't have that much damage and wear and tear on him. Sevino, man, he should have just took his L in this fight, and he had such a promising future in the UFC as far as I was concerned. You guys know, I said Sevino might be the best 20-year-old fighter in the world. So, I mean, he really dropped the ball there. Should have took his L. He was facing a fighter that has the potential to fight for the belt on the line. I know that's a steep statement, but Andre Lima is special. I'm telling you guys, as his grappling continues to evolve, his striking is something that's very special. I said he can strike with the best in the division right now. So Sevino dropped the ball there, and he gets cut from the UFC. If you guys didn't know that, that's where I'm going with that. Sevino was cut by the UFC, and Andre Lima got the bite of the night bonus there, and that was awesome there. So in the next fight, Montserrat Rendon takes the L to Daira. I thought that, I don't know, man. I thought Rendon was going to get the nod there. I was a little surprised to see a unanimous decision. Thought it was a very close fight. Again, it just shows that the judges are scoring damage a lot more than takedowns, control time, and that type of thing there. So the Russian gets a victory there in her UFC debut. I know a lot of people were upset with the decision there. I had no action on that fight. I stated I thought the value was on Rendon. I kind of stand behind that, especially if you saw where this line closed on the fight. The value was definitely on Rendon. So that was a tough L there for any of you guys that targeted that dog value. Steven Wynn versus Jarno Arens. Did I not tell you guys this kid, Jarno, was a lot better of a fighter than people were giving him credit for? People saw that he was 0-2 in the UFC. People were kind of sleeping on him. We talked about the fact that he has some solid striking, of course, has that Dutch kickboxing background, and that he's a well-rounded mixed martial artist, and that he was hungry here. Of course, I'm regretting that I didn't target this as an official play. I didn't. Could have grabbed a nice little dog play there in Jarno, and I didn't. I had some action on him for fun watching the fights, but did not have an official play locked in him. Steven Wynn's a good fighter, but Jarno is going to hang around in the UFC, and I think the UFC is happy about that, to have someone to represent that Dutch region there with the Dutch kickboxing, and we want to continue to grow the talent pool into the UFC. So Cody Gibson takes an L against Miles Johns. Miles Johns pressing heavy with the grappling. We did pick Cody Gibson. This was one of the few fights that we picked wrong. We did amazing overall picking the fights throughout this card. Like I said, picking some dogs and whatnot. But towards the middle of this card, we had a couple a couple fights that we didn't pick correctly, but not many. Just two fights here, really. We're going to talk about the Cody Gibson fight, which Miles Johns just pressed with the grappling nonstop. And then we did have Ricardo Ramos to beat Julian Erosa. And this was the 1 unit play that I targeted that I did not hit on. I took Ricardo Ramos via KO/TKO. I took him on that specific victory method there. Got it at plus 250. Did you guys see this fight? Ricardo Ramos cracks him with that big shot and like a fool goes to his wrestling when we know that the one deficiency he kind of has in his game is his grappling. And we know Julian Erosa is a talented grappler. Why do you do that? Let alone he loses the fight, let alone he wasn't giving me an opportunity to cash my TKO prop. I was upset for that. And then he loses the fight though. So, I mean, just a horrible mental mistake. And that's something I want to talk about more, man. You have these fighters. I know it's easy to sit here in the chair and play Monday quarterback, but I mean, you got to understand when you talk about the elite of the elite and the guys that are just not really on the level, a lot of it has to do with fight IQ as well. That was a horrendous decision for Ramos to do that. And that's the difference between him getting a W, and that's going to change his career path from here on. He's not an old fighter. He'll have more opportunities, but that was a big L that he took there. Kurt Hollabaugh gets mauled and controlled by Trey. This name. Well, you guys got me again. I like to call him Trey Ogen. I think I'm going to stick to that. I know you guys are going to get upset about it, but that's Trey Ogen. I'm an NFL guy. I've seen that last name in the NFL plenty of times, and it was always pronounced Ogen, Ogden, Trey Ogden. But Kurt Hollabaugh takes a tough L there. That was one of the very few fights that we picked incorrectly. Then we go over to Fernando Padilla getting the finish, and Fernando Padilla looked stellar in there. What a bounce back victory for him, especially after his last performance against Kyle Nelson. That was a little lackluster. That was a big time finish. This guy is well rounded, throwing knees up the middle. The boxing looks nasty. Snaps on the Darce choke, has those long limbs. He's huge for the division. What a performance by Fernando Padilla there, man. I'm keeping my eye on him. And then we got some official action to talk about here. 2 solid plays we cashed on. Yusuf Zalal, did we not talk about Zalal coming back to the octagon and getting a W here? Locked him in at plus 135, had 3 units on him. We saw him close as a favorite in this fight. I saw him close right around a minus 140. So people started to catch on. People need to realize that Yusuf was very young when he went on his 3-fight losing skid and had the draw as well. He was very young, was fighting high-level competition. One of those L's was a decision loss to the champion. Billy Q is a fun fighter to watch, but he's lethargic in there, man. We see him. He's old. And this was Yusuf Zalal's fight, and I'm glad we caught it at dog odds there. And then we went right into the Peyton Talbot victory where I caught him at minus 150. And I know a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I saw a good amount of people that were on Cameron. And listen, I get a lot of respect for Cameron's game. And again, that's a 3-unit play that I caught at minus 150 on Peyton Talbot. I have a great deal of respect for Cameron Simon's game. He's a talented kid. But people were looking into the fact that Peyton had a slow start in his UFC debut too much. If you really looked at his performance on Dana White's Contender Series and the way he closed that fight, and if you kind of understand his game and what we're hearing about him in the gym, he's a special fighter. And I had a feeling he was going to go in and bully Cameron a little bit. He's talented. He's switching stances, very technical. But I thought this fight was going to play out with Talbot kind of walking him down and just landing the heavier shots. That knee that he landed on Cameron as Cameron changed levels was nasty. If you guys have heard the thud, go on Instagram. You can find the video. Someone posted it in the arena and in the Apex Center, and that thud was nasty. And the only reason why Cameron survived that is because he's got a solid chin. He's very young. His brain's fresh. A lot of other fighters get crippled to that shot. All right, and then Edmund Shabazian goes out there, looks phenomenal, gets the finish. Was not expecting the finish here, to be honest. You guys know we talked about this. I had Edmund to win the fight. Thought he would have been a step ahead, but I thought AJ Dobson would have been durable and tough enough that he would have survived, and Edmund would have outpointed him a bit. And Edmund that did something completely different, man. He went in there and he does what he does. I mean, he is a fight finisher. It's not that I don't know it's not that I don't know he's a fight finisher. It's the fact that Dobson has been very durable, has never been finished, and seems to be very tough when he's in there. Edmund is a fight finisher, and he does what he does best. He finishes fights when he's getting W's. And then we went to the Carl Williams fight against Justin Tafa. Carl Williams fought an intelligent fight. He did not need to be playing around with Tafa on the feet. He actually played around with him a little bit more than he should have. Got clipped there, here and there in that fight, was wobbled up. Justin Toff is a stud, but he needs to continue to work on his takedown defense, and Justin Toff needs to come in better shape and better cardio. I think he should trim up a little bit. His striking is nasty, and if he keeps the fight standing, he can knock anybody out in the division. But if he wants to take his game to the next level, I want to see him trimmed up, and I want to see him just extensively working his grappling, his takedown defense, and all that. So, and then we go to the main event, where Rose Namajunas defeats Amanda Ribas. I thought that Rose won 3 of the 5 rounds, potentially 4 of the 5 rounds, but I say she should have won 3 of the rounds. I know some people saw Amanda Ribas jumping up after those early rounds and raising her hands and raising her arms, and kind of were thinking she was winning those rounds, and I was in disagreement. Rose Namajunas was fighting a very intelligent fight. She was landing the heavier, cleaner shots in there. She was timing her takedowns beautifully. And if you actually were watching the grappling, which was really beautiful to watch, the way that they were rolling there on the mat and just transitioning, and they had some wild stuff happening. At one time, Rose was like on top of her head in like a headstand position and was rolling out of stuff. And let's be clear, in all those grappling exchanges, Rose Namajunas out-grappled Amanda Ribas, who's a phenomenal BJJ player. So, I thought Rose deserved to win that fight. Even if you want to give Ribas the 5th round, I think it was, I still had Rose winning rounds 1, 2, and 4, I believe, right? Ribas had the big 3rd round. Yeah, that's how I had it. So, and you guys, I'm sorry, I'm not doing any matchmaking for this video. Like I said, man, just want to pump this video out to you guys, let you know how we did and recap this card. And we need to hop into this New York event, or excuse me, New Jersey. All right, Atlantic City is in New Jersey, but we need to get into this AC event. So I've been spending some time breaking down some fight tape, and like I said, I've been having some things go on over here, and I'm just trying to get this content pumped out to you and trying to break down this tape and make sure that we are profiting in a major way for the AC event, the same way that we just did for UFC Vegas 89. All right, guys. So I hope you guys all profited for this event as well. Comment below. I want to know the plays that you guys targeted, what you hit on, what you missed. All right, guys. I appreciate you. Signing out.
Welcome to the show. This is the MMA fortune teller. Yeah.
The MMA fortune teller.
The teller.